What's up, you guys? It is your boy, HamzaConnection, coming at you live. Well, I just finished work and went to the chiropractor and got myself all cracked up and some needles for the first time, actually, in my shoulder. And shit, man, it hurts. But I had a really interesting talk with my chiropractor because I asked her about some body SDS. And basically, for those of you who don't know what body SDS is, it's basically like a form of massage where you can, like, where you're supposed to like massage things. And the whole theory is that they massage your body, believing that the body stores like tension and trauma and all of that stuff inside your body. And this is what I really want to talk about because it gave me like a really cool perspective that I really didn't like think about that much up until now. And also like the things and the advice that I'm giving, she really made me reevaluate that. And this is just fresh off the cuff. It's like 15 minutes ago. I just went back to work in the studio and I thought like, why not record this episode while it's still fresh on my mind? So basically, like, body is this, the whole notion: massage the body, push on some muscles, and release stored trauma. Like, for me, I never tried body SDS. She tried it. She doesn't believe in that kind of stuff. But I've experienced something similar with doing yoga. So basically, I remember like the first time I did my a yoga lesson, I was about to like stretch out my chest, and I never stretched out my chest. And at that time, I was like bench pressing and all of that stuff a whole lot. So I was working the chest a lot because I wanted like to show off and have big chest muscles. So what happened was when I got to stretch, I like some emotions came up, and I actually wanted to cry at that point. It was super weird. And not because, like, you know, when you hit yourself and you want to cry, it's not that kind of pain. It's more like an emotional kind of pain, like for instance, somebody dies or you are sad about something and you just feel like crying. That sort of emotion came up. And I realized, like, after that lesson, I went up, googled it, and read a bunch of books about it and stuff like that. And I realized, like, whoa, I'm starting to believe that we actually store like emotional trauma in our bodies and stuff like that. So that's why I was like, shit, this is super interesting. And body SDS was just like an extension for that. But here's the like interesting conversation I had with my chiropractor. Well, she basically said like she didn't experience the same thing with body SDS and all of this stuff. And she's having a very hard time believing that kind of stuff. But when I told her about like my yoga experience, she was like, I totally believe that can happen. And then she said, yeah, but we're all different and all of that stuff. Because he was like, yeah, I totally believe when you're saying it, but for me, it just didn't work. And that made me kind of realize that we are super different, because the things that may work for me may not work for her. So for instance, I probably have a lot of emotional things like trapped in my body, because you can see it like sort of in like the posture, the way I carry myself and all of this stuff. I could be having like a more open posture. Like when you ever see somebody like who's not that self-confident, not that I am that person, but I used to be a lot like that person. And then I started training and started like getting a bigger chest and all this stuff and standing proper. And that translated into having more confidence. So I basically sense that the whole thing that the body is your mind and the mind is the body is true, because like you change your body. Like look at people that never worked out before and they go to the gym and they start working out. What happens there? Well, they start to get more confidence and all of that stuff. They start to build up more of their confidence. And is it because they just start working out and it gives you confidence? I think it's because they actually like change their body on a physical level, and that creates this belief in your head, and like the mental belief in your head that, oh, you're looking better now and all of this stuff. And this makes it so that your brain allows you to feel more confident. And that is a super interesting notion, because I remember like it had the exact same effect on me. Like I started working out and I suddenly became way more confident. And also like with yoga and stuff like that, like opening up my chest more and stuff. And I remember my yoga teacher, she told me like, oh, you probably have having a hard time opening up the third and fourth chakra. And I was like, what? I don't believe in that kind of stuff at that point. But then I read about it, And I compared it to the emotions that I was having at the time, and I realized like, holy shit, there might be something about this, because these chakras, like closing up these chakras, really describes how I'm feeling. And the whole notion of that is it's super interesting to me, because I had like a direct experience with this stuff without even like knowing about it beforehand. So, but the whole notion is that what she made me realize, and that she built upon like the stuff that I experienced, was that she didn't experience that kind of stuff. So she would stretch, she would do all these kind of stuff, but she would not experience that. And it made me come to the conclusion that we have different trigger points. So for instance, for me, it was like my chest like opening up and all that stuff, being able to receive and give love. I'm really bad at receiving love, but I'm really good at giving love. But that means like the chest is closed, so it's harder for you to like give love. Like basically you can sort of like, it sounds like kind of woo woo right now when I'm talking about it, but you can sort of try it in yourself. Like there was a scientific experience, like if you hold like a winning posture, your testosterone actually increase in that little time frame that you held that confident posture. Now, if you force a person to hold like an unconfident posture, like shoulders shrugged in, all of that stuff, and really unconfident posture, they would actually appear less confident, and the testosterone would actually go down. That was for like, I think it was a male study and stuff like that, but you can look it up on the internet if you don't believe me. But basically, that is super interesting. Like that our physiology can change our state of mind so much, and you can actually go ahead and try it yourself. Like I have a little like exercise you can do, and that's basically like, go ahead, smile, and then see, you will, it's very hard to be sad when you're forcing yourself to smile. Like hold that for like 2 to 5 minutes, and you will, first of all, if you're not used to smiling, you will experience a cramp. But other than that, you will start feeling more happier. And that's funny, because it's just like the facial expression sends signals to our brain. So the whole notion of having things trapped inside our body and all of this stuff is sort of like, that's what I want to compare it to with all of these like scientific studies that have been shown. But I don't have like a scientific study that shows like, oh, we have emotional things stored in our body. That's only like my experience. But it could be true, it could not. But the thing that she made me realize was that we are all different. So things that may work for me with the yoga and with the stretching and all this stuff, I would say that, oh, that would be universal and stuff like that. But everybody has their own challenges, and everybody responds differently to something else. Because I can sort of see it, like the way that artists responds to music, and when they make music, it's sort of like different. They get in the flow, but I recognize when they talk about like that flow that they get in, I get that flow when I'm doing like the things that I like doing, like these podcast episodes, and also like editing and all of that stuff. Like I love that shit, like editing After Effects. I remember like when I was younger, I would edit so much on After Effects, and it would be like 3 o'clock and the night, and I would be like, whoa, this feels like 1 or 2 hours. And that was kind of crazy. But that flow that people talk about, like for instance, like Kobe Bryant died, but basically I'd imagine that he would have the same flow when he was playing like basketball. And that just goes to show that we may experience like the same emotions and stuff like that, but it's different trigger points. Like what I get from doing my thing, you get from doing your thing. So, and I really like that open-mindedness. That's what I want to work on. That she introduced, because she believed in the experience that I told her, and she believed all that I said, but still she could be like, okay, but that doesn't work for me. So just because like it doesn't work for you does not mean that it doesn't work for others. And that's a really, really cool mindset to have. And I think I'm going to try to adopt that. But that was just like my experience for today that I wanted to share with you guys, because it brought up some interesting thought, and I hope it brings up some interesting thoughts in you. Well, think about this stuff, and let me know in the comment section down below if you try like any of these body stretches and all of this stuff, or if you ever felt like an emotion coming up when you're like stretching and stuff like that, or that zone, in the zone moment that I'm talking about, like that flow kind of sensation when you're doing your thing and you're so deeply focused on that. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this episode, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and Peace.